This is to the media, to your twisted, immoral society, and your communist government. We hate you all, and we are ready for war. We will always speak up and expose the corruption, the authoritarianism, the tyranny, and the hate.
Truth dispels lies, as light dispels darkness.
From an undisclosed location, deep in an occupied zone, you are listening to Covert Radio.
Breaking news, y'all. Breaking news. This is from the Daily Wire, about an hour ago, if that. I did vet this information. It is true. And you can see on the screen here, it says breaking Alberta, Canada to end vaccine passport by midnight. There's something so weird going on, and I'm so afraid of what's about to happen because I know so much. There's so much I don't know, but the things I do know and the way history has, I got to quit saying, I sometimes I listen to my recordings and it's like, I don't know why I do that. There's an MIT professor that says when you say a word or a phrase that, this is a public speaking course, but it's when I went to MIT, but they said that, whenever you catch yourself saying a word you don't want to repeat, you're supposed to pinch yourself or like slap your leg, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to consciously quit saying, I don't know why I do that, but what was I saying? So, I know a lot about history. There's a lot I don't know, but I'm addicted. I'm addicted to the Nazis. I'm addicted to psychology, counterinsurgency, psyops. I love it all. I love it. I love it. I love it all. And my opinion is we are on the razor edge of catastrophe, not to mention what's going on with Russia, not in the Ukraine, and the fact that NATO is dying to get us into war. I have a video actually about the truckers that I was going to work on tonight a little bit because, again, comparing history to what's happening right now, and I'm saying as early as a couple years ago. I don't know if you guys know who Lavoy Finicum is. Eamon Bundy and his dad. There was a wildlife refuge, and there was a standoff several years ago. This had to do with the Bureau of Land Management and cattle grazing rights, and the government kept taking more land. These are some good old boys. These are, 5th, 6th, 7th generation ranchers and farmers, and they took a stand. They took a stand against the government, and there was death. I mean, through history, and I'm saying recent history. I'm not talking past 20-some years, okay? You look at Waco, Texas. David Koresh, the Branch Davidians, ended in catastrophic death. You look at Eamon Bundy and his dad and all the people who occupied a wildlife refuge, and, they stood their ground. They were armed, ended in death. Lavoy Finicum killed in cold blood with his hands up. Ruby Ridge, the Weaver family, all of them murdered by the government because they took a stand. Granted, this is all in America. Canadians, as far as I know, they're not violent people, but they're also not stupid people, and they're also not passive. Meaning they're passive to a point as long as it's nothing, if it's a hockey game, they might get, what I mean? But when it comes to government stuff and people treading on their rights, they've never appeared to me, and even maybe through history, they've never really appeared to me to be soft individuals. You know, they're pretty rugged men and women, and they don't, I didn't think they would stand for this much longer, you know, and then here comes the convoy. And then I thought to myself, like, is this counterinsurgency? Who is actually leading this? And then you have the leaders, and they want $16 million now, you know, which I find a little odd. $16 million for this convoy that's in Canada right now. And I don't know how they plan on divvying that up, but they're up about 7-8 million right now, last time I checked. But anyway, I'm working on this video, and I'm going through, you know, even starvation crimes. And what triggered this video for me is the fact that they started calling this a siege. They were saying, you know, the parliament, it's under siege. Ottawa is under siege. Again, when you know, these words have very, 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 very serious implications, just like insurgency have very, very serious implications and meanings. And, you know, again, if you look back through Covert Radio a couple years ago not January 6th, whenever that was last year, when they kept talking about the insurgents, a red flag went up, and I was like, uh-oh, you know what I mean? This is way bigger than, you know, than just some people, whatever. This is a new 9/11, meaning that, you know, with 9/11 came the Patriot Act, and now with the insurgency comes all, you know, the Department of Homeland Security. They're now saying that free speech is considered domestic terrorism. And then you have these communist companies like YouTube and Google and Facebook and Twitter who are managing your free speech. American companies, American tax subsidy. Google alone, Alphabet gets over $1 billion to date of tax subsidy in America. They take advantage of American workforce, low wages. They take advantage of corporate loopholes and tax holes. But yet they trample all over American citizens' constitutional rights. This video isn't about that. We're going to talk about this breaking news. I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. But it's true. Alberta, Canada, they're ending the vaccine passport at midnight tonight, 11:59 Tuesday night on February the 8th of 2022. Jason Kenney, who's the premier of Alberta, Canada, has announced that several COVID-19 restrictions, including the COVID-19 vaccine passport, which mandated proof of vaccine for entry into various businesses, will end at 11:59 p.m. local time Tuesday night. Oh my God, it's amazing. See, I think what's happening is, you know, Trudeau, he's done. There's no, you know, he's a fuckboy of the New World Order. If you look at his history, he was passed around as a young lad, and I mean that in every sense of the word. He's the Council of Foreign Relations and the Bilderberger little fuckboy, and he does whatever his daddies, and I mean that in the most literal, sickest sense you can imagine. He does whatever he's told. He's on his way out. His charm is worn off. His little, you know, when he's breathless and he's given a speech and he's so fluent in French, and, you know, he gives that little smile like he's going to make all the women swoon. He's a fuckboy that's been passed around. That is reality. That is reality. His own half-brother has come out recently against him, let alone the entire country of Canada. They can't stand him. They cannot stand him. And I think what's happening now is the premiers and the elected officials in their parliament and, you know, representing special groups and special interest groups, they're all saying, no, we can't back this guy anymore. He's done. He's lost the faith, because at the end of the day, even with siege and insurgency and counterinsurgency and, all these psychological acts of war, at the end of the day, it all boils down to hearts and minds. Always, always. If you don't have hearts and minds, you're done. I don't care what you're trying to do, unless you're going to lose or use brute force, which is still on the table if you want my opinion. But anyway, this is the first in a 3-step plan to eliminate the majority of COVID-19 rules, by the end of February. And it comes after weeks of massive protests throughout Canada against the government's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Here's a quote from Jason Kenney, the Premier of Alberta. "Now is the time to begin learning to live with COVID," Kenney said. "These restrictions have led to terrible division." Look at America. Look at America. You've made a bunch new billionaires, consolidated power, shut down a bunch of American businesses, privately owned businesses, and made 5 or 10 people, that were some of the richest people in the world, even richer. That's what happened in America. Not to mention we're medical guinea pigs. Remember what Joy Behar said? "Come on, black people, get your shot. The white people was the guinea pigs." Yeah, fuck off. Anyway, we cannot remain at a heightened state of emergency forever. We have to begin to heal. Also goes down to say, if Canada-U.S. trucker vaccine mandate wasn't bad enough, now Justin Trudeau wants to bring in a mandate for truckers going between the provinces. He tweeted that recently. You can read this article. I'll link it. This is just a little overview of what he spoke about earlier this evening, Tuesday night on CTV News. The Premier also talked about how the pandemic rules have inflamed disputes amongst Albertans and disrupted and even destroyed livelihoods. Same thing in America. But see, you're too fat and stupid, and you're too caught up in Teen Mom to give a shit. That's your problem. You got, "Give me some more pizza and Num Num Doritos with my Pepsi, because I got to watch 1,000 Pound Sisters tonight. It's on." We'll never be able to do a full accounting of the extent of the pain and hardship that restrictions have caused, Kenney said. The Premier added that many countries, states, and provinces are also removing restrictions as mommy commie cases numbers fade. So again, I'm not going to read this. You guys can read it. You can look into it if you want. The mandates are ending effective midnight tonight. And here's one more thing that I wanted to terrify you with, because I'm terrified over this. I am, especially when we're so see, again, you have to understand how this opened the door to medical tyranny, to the literal mark of the beast. Do you think they're going to close the door back up when they've been able to shut the entire world down? Do you think they're going to shut the door? You think, maybe we'll try again in 10 years. We'll try all this. You think that's going to work? It's like the pyramid schemes that come around to your little town and in the bars and in the clubs. Oh, the pyramids are back. You got to hurry up. Get in while get in as quick as you can so you can get out with some money in your pocket. The pyramids go away and you don't see them again for 5 or 10 years because people got burned and they don't want to be a part of it till they forget. Or it's there's a bunch new people that have turned 21 and they want to go to the bars. Oh, pyramid. Yeah. Give me a $20 square. They're not going to try this again, especially with how well this tyranny has worked. Do you think they're just going to leave go to making billions of dollars every quarter like Pfizer has and Moderna? And, these other corporate, do you think they're just going to give that up? Do you think Bill Gates and Fauci is just going to give up with, government swooning over every word these Magdalenites have fallen out of there? You think they're just going to Stop? No. This is why it's terrifying me, because there's no way they're gonna easily reverse what they've done. And not to get into this, over the years, for a very long time, my generation at least, and every generation above me, we've all been trained to fear nuclear war. We've all been trained to fear the Russians. We've all been trained to fear the nuclear, nukes and the nuclear winters and everything, and getting under your desk in school and all that and this and that. So here's one thing that has stuck with me for a long time. If Russia ever detonates dirty nukes, suitcase nukes, I read a book a couple years ago called End of Days. It's a pretty big book, and it was great. And it's about it starts off basically as a dirty bomb, a dirty suitcase nuke being detonated at Yellowstone. And then this is what starts World War III, a nuclear war between America and Russia. So, that's always stuck in my mind as well. But one thing that's always stuck with me is the jet stream. And they've determined this, and this is actual science. This is from, data collected by Russian and American weather services. The ideal conditions to hurt, maim, and kill the max amount of Americans by a nuclear or dirty bomb, even just one or two detonated Midwest to West Coast, is between April and May. April and May have the ideal jet stream trajectory to do the most damage to America with the least amount of a payload, because any one of them could wipe us off the map. We can wipe them off the map. I'm talking about oopsie, a suitcase nuke, up. I'm talking about an accident, and I'm throwing up quotations, accident, or, what have you, a lone nutcase, somehow a new terrorist got his hands on a nuke because he hates Americans' freedoms. April and May, and here we are, right in the beginning of February. We're only a month or so away from April. They're beating the drums. NATO is licking their chops trying to get Russia to jump. They're talking about causing a false flag now to get Russia to jump into the Ukraine conflict. And Putin has said today, he's talking about basically a nuclear war. And I'm not surmising. Nuclear detonation came out of his mouth. So here we are. And then all of a sudden, and here's the last thing I want to play. All of a sudden we have this with Alberta. You have this over here, that over there. And now they're changing this. And, Boris Johnson all of a sudden a week or two ago said, oh, that's it. All mandates are dropped. Oh, comb your hair, dude. Number one, comb your hair. But supposedly now in England, everything's being dropped just miraculously overnight. And then you have this.
Do you agree with the move?
I do. There was and is a time and place for pandemic restrictions, but when they were put in, it was always with the understanding that they would be removed as soon as we can. And in this case, circumstances have changed. Case counts are declining. Also, the science has changed. We know that vaccines protect very well against Omicron, which is the dominant variant. Everyone 5 and older have widespread access to vaccines. And we also know about one-way masking, the idea that even if other people around you are not wearing masks, if you wear a high-quality mask, that also protects you, the wearer, too.
Do you understand the complete 180 this psycho has made in the last day or so? This was today. Something bad is coming. Unless, and listen to me, unless we continue to push this momentum forward. That's the only way that this is not going to reverse, or they're not going to go into phase 2, or there's going to be a new leak from this lab over here for the one that's killing out a 1 in 4, which they are saying is the Neo-Cov. There's a brand new variant they're talking about right now, and it has a mortality rate of 1 in 4. So, again, unless we keep alert, unless we keep pushing, you got to be strong. There's never been a time in your entire life than right now. You've never had an opportunity or a need to be stronger than you need to be right now. You got to stand up, and you've got to prepare your thoughts, because you are going to be confronted. And even if you're confronted by a neighbor or some lunatic that has all these mind-melting propaganda, rhetoric, talking points, that this witch right here, Lena Wen, has said and beat into people's heads for the last 2 years. Mind you, this is the same witch that has said mandates can't come fast enough. Mandates can't come fast enough. I believe the passports, they can't come fast enough. People should be, fired. They should be taken out of society. They should be put in isolation if they don't want to get vaxxed. This is the same woman. And now, all of a sudden, she says, I think it's time we start reversing this. I think it's time we stop pushing this poison on children, and maybe they can stop wearing a mask. Do you understand that? This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I'm Covert Radio. You guys take care. You have a good day.
This is to the media, to your twisted, immoral society, and your communist government. We hate you all, and we are ready for war. We will always speak up and expose the corruption, the authoritarianism, the tyranny, and the hate.
Truth dispels lies, as light dispels darkness.
From an undisclosed location,